Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. As you can see, we have lit up our LEGO Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. The kit has come from Light My Bricks, that's lightmybricks.com. These guys were nice enough to send us one of their UCS Falcon kits, and if you check out their website, you can see they've got a ton of kits that you can light up larger LEGO sets from, as well as the raw materials for doing your own custom lighting. Feel free to click the link in the description below if you want to learn more. I'm going to show you guys this entire process. Thanks a lot, Kenny at Light My Bricks for sending over this kit to us and getting right into it. This is the package that they sent over. I kind of like the black matte finish that's put onto the bubble wrap package. It says bring your bricks to life at the top, and there's also a scanning code. I suppose that's something that you would use maybe for a mobile phone if you wanted to get instructions on your phone very quickly and easily, though that wasn't necessary for us. We used it with a laptop. And here's everything that came in the package. High quality stuff on the inside. These plastic bags are reusable, and this box here with the Light My Bricks logo on it is the exact same box that you can get, that we get every year for our Comic-Con badges. Of course, it's detailed, completely different. A couple of nice little cards on the inside, and that tab that you actually open at the top is connected by a little magnet. Here's a basic user guide, sort of like a dummy guide that gives you all the information you'll need, though also the instructions were so easy to follow, I can't say we really referenced it the entire time building. Now, these are all the different components required for the Falcon. Having not really done a ton of lighting, I did a little bit on Yavin, but I personally consider myself about as green as it gets when it comes to putting lights into models. So I can say that the separate labeling and packaging for all these different components was extremely useful, especially for somebody who's a first-ish timer like me. Now, completely spread out, this is what everything looks like that came in our personal package here. And as I open up a few different components like the battery pack and some of the more common lights that were used throughout this build, I just want to show you guys that this package on the side was also a little bit of extra stuff that Kenny also included with this setup, which doesn't normally come with the Millennium Falcon, I don't believe. And inside, of course, you can see some stickers, but it also came with a custom minifigure with the Light My Bricks logo. That is exactly what you think it is, a blue lightsaber that lights up, and a red one, as well as another gun effects board. You can also see a USB adapter connector, which is really, really useful because that's how we like to light up our larger setups. And there's just a closer look at some of the stickers. Okay, so that was some of the extra stuff, and now into the lab. We're out of the light room now, guys. I've got all of my Light My Bricks components on the table, as well as the UCS Falcon and a laptop. So that should be everything we need to get started. I'm gonna download the instructions with this scanner, and if I get snagged or stopped up at any point, I've got a lighting degree, or an electrical degree behind me. Yeah, that's right. So he's got like a degree in all this stuff in case I don't know how to figure it out. But it looks pretty straightforward. So anyways, I'll bring you guys along for the trip. We're going to be lighting up the Falcon. We'll see what it looks like at the end. Also, you can see sitting next to me during the build, I've got a partner that is Dakota from DJ Brick. He's got a channel of his own, which you guys should check out, but also he's been helping us out in the studio. The step-by-step building instructions are located on the website, which is what we followed to build this thing. He had never used a lighting kit before, and it was pretty darn easy. The first thing you finish is probably the coolest part of the lighting, which is the engines. It's also extremely easy to put this part together, and we were surprised as to how quickly we started getting results as the build went along. There's a lot of satisfying little benchmarks that you hit as you build. I'm pretty sure either of us could have built this on our own, but it certainly helped having a partner. I was more of the guide, and Dakota certainly made most of the physical attachments for both the lights on the sticky paper and the boards themselves. And the second chunk that you get to mess around with has a couple of blinking lights in the first room, and the designer of this kit had the perfect idea of putting a light inside the hyperdrive. You can see as we move along, it requires you to take off the top paneling of the Falcon. This was all pretty easy going. The disassembly was done in a really logical way where you're not breaking off weird pieces at weird angles. And now we've built the lighting for the second room. Even though they're white lights, they're surrounded so much by the tan, it really gives off a nice warm sort of yellow light to the interior. And then funny enough, Dakota and Ramon finished off the last little chunk of the build with both the front lights, the blasters, and the cockpit. Here it is in its final form. I'm going to leave this panel a little bit loose on the model, even though you are supposed to reconnect it. I've been turning the battery pack on and off to conserve it as I filmed, and I'm also going to be playing around with the light levels here in the Lightroom, as I should, to show you guys what this thing looks like in different atmospheres. First thing is adding the lights to the cockpit. I really like that the length of the wires is long enough to have the cockpit rest on the ground, and the interior has one white light in the center that really lights up your pilot and co-pilot, and then you have some blue ambient light in the back. From certain angles, I really like the way this blue light looks. It juxtaposes super well on the interior, though in real life walking around it, I feel like the blue kind of pops a bit, and we might do something in the future to mute it, though who knows, maybe it'll stay the same after we play around with it a bit in our free time. Now moving on to the front lights, you can see they've been made in red. Often when you see models of the Falcon, they usually do it in white, or even sometimes it has a blue hint, but I knew it was red, and I watched a bunch of different clips, and there I saw it. It was in the Battle of Endor, the space battle. You can clearly see a red or orange hint to the lights that the Falcon has in the front as it's entering the second Death Star. That bit of coloration works pretty darn well here in the front. Here you can see a little bit of the exposed wire if you're looking for it, and if you really wanted to beat yourself up, you probably could hide it a little bit better in the body, but for the most part, I'm certainly happy with its placement. It was very easy to set up. Here there certainly is a lot more exposed wires, which personally I'm not a huge fan of, but I love the red lights that are hidden inside those little pin pieces. You have the option of putting on the studs, though I don't think they look as good. You still have posability with the cannon, and you can also play around with the effects box to have some of those cannons two shooting and then alternating back and forth instead of all four going off at the same time. Now for the main bit of lighting fun, we've got to check out the back engines in the darker room. I'm glad that they used white light because it is very white as you look at the center of it with just a bit of the blue hint. This makes sense if you look close at the Falcon in most of its shots. That really is how the light works out, though when looking at it, I'm turning the light way down just so you guys can see it a little bit easier, but some of those white lights actually pierce in between the trans blue tubes, and it looks a little bit too shiny in some spots. Upon further revisiting, we might play around with this area to see if we can't mute a few of those slightly brighter areas, but the overall effect is really impressive, and this is certainly the best part of the model, at least for me. Now, the final resting place of the Falcon probably won't have it in a battle position, so I've taken out the effects box off of the guns, and now I've switched them over to the engines. I'm playing around with the different settings that you have. You can also play around with the speed of these three different settings by twisting a little knob. The shooting one doesn't really work for the engines, and personally my favorite effect here is probably the slow glow effect, the slowest version of this low warping in and out of light effect that you have right here at the end. Part of me too also just likes to keep it consistently bright, but the effects box is really fun, and you can attach it to any lights that you like. Now looking here at the top of the Falcon, you can see just a little bit of the light peeking through the body. I was a little bit afraid that that was going to be an issue with so much interior lighting, but you can hardly see it here at all. And by the way, Darth Vader and Rey are having a battle on top of the Falcon. Not part of the official lighting kit, but there are definitely some open areas on the boards for adding more lights if you wanted to, so we decided to just take the liberty. And now here are some more interior shots once we've completely cleaned up the wires. I think there is one that you can see in the first room, but for the most part, it's all super well hidden. The instructions are super clear on how to place the wires so they don't get pinched, and also so they stay completely out of sight. The placement of the lights really does give you a lot of extra dimension to the interiors. So let me turn the lights down again and give you guys an idea of just how much brighter it is on the inside, and in general it just feels a little bit more warm and welcoming. And revisiting the glowing saber battle, you can see just how much brighter the blue is compared to the red. I think that's just a natural consequence of light traveling through different colors. And now for my favorite part of the video, we have added, temporarily at least, the Falcon to the Yavin tarmac. The Ghost was getting reskinned, so the Falcon is hanging out and taking its place on the Rebel base, and it's currently being powered by the main power supply through the actual build of the tarmac, and it's not on a battery pack as you see it right now. I swear, like right after we placed this thing down and set it up, I had a bit of the Star Wars main theme song running through my head, just taking a look at this general scene, and I decided to set up just a little bit around here, but we might do some more dioramas. We've got Han Solo meeting Hera Syndulla, Chewie and C-3PO are perhaps reading some internal diagnostics in the cockpit. Who knows what they're doing? They're in the cockpit, and because the colors of the lightsaber blades just cannot be changed out, for some reason Kanan has a red saber, and he's practicing with Ezra on top of the Falcon. Don't really care about universe consistency. This doesn't look like any of this would have happened at any particular point in time, but in general, we're just really happy with the way this thing looks on the tarmac. Before we close out, I just want to show you this is what the different light flashing functions look like on the other blaster effects box. This first one is a bit slower. The lights kind of have a softer fadeaway. The second one looks like much more rapid fire attacking. Certainly lots of bursts of light. This is the most erratic one. And the last effect is somewhere in between the other two, where it's smaller bursts and a little bit of glow fighting, where people are taking a few shots at a time. And at the moment, we haven't set up a battle scene for something like this, or perhaps we'll find a different use altogether for this effects box. At the end of the day, I think the product here supplied by Light My Bricks is really solid. It was a lot easier to set up than I initially anticipated, and I was also surprised as to how well the instructions worked in terms of being able to take apart the model in certain ways that doesn't really cause too much of a headache. And I suppose that's it for initial impressions. I think the Falcon has a totally new life, and for someone who's relatively new with lighting, my brother basically did most if not all of Yavin, I have to say I feel a lot more comfortable with the medium of putting lights into Lego bricks, and I look forward to personally expanding a bit more into this in the future. So anyways guys, there it is. Those are my thoughts. Remember, lightmybricks.com is where you can get it. We've got a link in the description below. Feel free to click that. We don't get commission on sales or anything, but it does help them track how many people have checked out their site through watching the video. Thanks again, Kenny, for sending this kit over to us. Let me know what you guys think about the lit up Falcon in the comments below. Should we make the Falcon a permanent fixture in Yavin? And does Ramon have a sixth toe on one of his feet? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next time at BrickVault. Hey everybody, wanted to pop in really quick, let you guys know that we've got a Lego web store, www.brickvault.toys, where we sell the PDF step-by-step instructions for some incredibly awesome Lego MOCs. It's definitely worth checking out. The revenue from the web store helps support us here at the channel, as well as the designers that create these amazing Lego builds. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Remember, that's www.brickvault.toys, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.